Dude, I've been yelling at people about this gun since I read up on them. It's insane. What's going on, guys? Got a new product here, newer to the market product. Over-engineered. Better than anything you've ever had. And you've probably never heard about it. This is the Vector VK-1. Lighter weight, better gas system, a lot of other nerdy stuff that we'll get into later. But we're gonna do some shooting and some tech breakdowns later, and we'll see how it goes. So I know what you guys are thinking. It's just another AR-15. And from looking at it, yeah, I can see how you'd get that. It's got radiant selector, radiant charging handle, hyperfire trigger, Ambi Controls, Magpul furniture. But let's be honest, you can buy all of that at Superior Outfitters. So what problems does the VK-1 solve?
Okay, so from a left-handed perspective, I always really like having left-handed parts on guns. I'm a correct-handed shooter, not a wrong-handed shooter. And in my opinion, having Ambi parts really makes the gun more comfortable for me to fire. In addition to running a bolt catch like this my entire life, you can actually run it on this side. Their bolt latch is both a bolt catch and a bolt release. It does have Ambi magazine release, again, Ambi bolt release, and just general functionality with the charging handle and the Talon safety is great. But really, that's not the innovative part about this. So let's talk more about why this gun really is innovative and solves a lot of problems.
So Vector, son of a nutcracker. So Vector Industries offers the VK-1 rifle in 3 different barrel lengths, a 16-inch, a 10.3, and the 13.7, which we've got here, wearing a Dead Air Nomad 30, a Vortex Razor 1-6 LPVO and a Weaver cantilever, and an Atlas bipod. Now, when everybody hears piston-driven, we associate that with weight, and that's very fair. Piston-driven guns get heavy. But that operating system offers a lot of advantages over DI guns that kind of can't be ignored. So depending on what you're looking for, it might be worth it. So Vector decided to try to fix everything. Now Vector is giving you a full piston-driven system, single piece op rod, adjustable gas block, while still maintaining a slimline handguard, and it's coming in at only 6.8 pounds. Half a pound lighter than an LWRC. So not only are you gaining the advantages of a piston-driven system, but you're also keeping weight relatively low. Yeah, let's do a side-by-side.
Let's compare it to Novetzke.
Dude, think about it though.
Solid selling point.
Think about it. If it can outdo Novetzke in some way, how good of a point is that,
I can't argue with that.
We're gonna break down, talk about the beefed up buffer retainer, and then a whole lot that went into this bolt carrier group to make it a lot more innovative than what you would traditionally see on a DI or standard piston gun. So Vector Industries put a lot of time, money, and effort into designing a bolt that alleviates a lot of common problems that piston guns and DI guns have issues with. So piston-driven guns do have a propensity to have what's called bolt tilt. So as the op rod hits this front portion here of the bolt carrier, that could cause some sort of tilt within the upper receiver. They went ahead and enlarged the back end of that so it rides well within your upper receiver and into your bolt carrier, which is also going to increase your reliability. Now, they did one really cool thing. It's kind of hard to see with the carbon, but they added a arrow on the top of your cam bolt, and all that does is make it to where you are placing that cam bolt back in the same direction, the same orientation every single time, which is just going to add more repeatability as you take apart your rifle, clean it, put it back together. Your wear all is going to happen in the same direction. But the big thing, you got a 22.5 degree cam path, and the standard cam path is 20 degrees. So with that being said, you get an extra 2 degrees of dwell time out of your bolt. And with that, it allows about 10 to 15,000 PSI to be able to actually continue dumping out of your gas system which reduces even more of that gas coming back at you, and it'll expel right out of the ejection port, which removes a lot of that blowback that you would normally have on a regular piston gun or DI gun running a can. So now onto the lower. Vector Industries VK-1 rifle. The upper is truly I think what makes the rifle what it is. But the lower, they do a lot of interesting things. So having the ability to articulate your bolt catch with your firing finger is huge, especially for malfunction clearings, things of that sort. But my personal favorite is their beefed up retainer pin. Being able to have something that you can not have to worry about snapping off and going into your trigger as you're running long strings of fire, and then your gun going click when you don't want it to, is like having Betty White whisper sweet nothings into your ear.
So some final thoughts on the Vector Industries VK-1. We just got finished running it pretty hard today. I think we put probably 100, 125 rounds through it in a really short time period. Overall, from a lefty perspective, it was pretty good. I liked it for the most part. When we had a traditional can on there for the start of the range session, it's a little gassy for me as a lefty, right? When we swapped over to a flow-through can for the second half of the session, that's really when the benefits started to show up. The fact that it's a piston-driven gun and the fact that we're pushing a lot of that gas forward with this flow design is really the way to go for a gun like this, especially if you're wrong-handed like me. I think overall, the gun handles well, the controls are solid, everything shot well, it cycles fast. I think if you were going to go with something like this, the flow can really is the way to go if you're going suppressed. Overall, I definitely buy it.
So this whole journey started off by us wanting to answer one question. Did Vector Industries really make an innovative rifle? And after all the rounds that we put through it and the different cans and the testing, we can say conclusively it is. This is arguably the best rifle experience that I've had. With the traditional can, it was a little gassy, and I mean very little. In comparison to a DI gun, it was a lot less. Most piston guns, it's not super noticeable unless you're running extremely long strings of fire continually. But once you add a flow-through can on it, it basically gets rid of all of the gas. All the features that they talk about, all the patents that they do, as far as the extra dwell time, the single piece op rod, they did it. They did it right. And as far as a rifle goes, this 13.7 with a lighter weight flow-through can and a solid LPVO, I don't know that it can get much more versatile than that. It has absolutely been one of the best experiences, pleasant experiences shooting the rifle that I've ever had. So this is the gun. Proper noun, capitalize both parts. I don't see any reason to not have one.